curious about when reading nonverbal body language, are there certain parts of the body that are more expressive than others in your experience, that as you're learning this skill, because we're not as good at it as you, let's face it. That's why we're listening. That's why I'm interviewing you. For a beginner, what would be some things to be focusing on initially to get better at this?
Certainly the first thing that for most business people, there's two sides to this. First of all, there's the expressive body language. They're what the signals that you give out with your own body language. And then there's the reading of other people. And if you've never really thought about this before, then my first step would be, look, just start becoming more aware of other people. Pay attention to how they respond and interact when you're speaking. The vast majority of people, particularly if it's a high-pressure business situation like a meeting or a presentation or a pitch, people tend to be very much in their own heads. They're thinking about, what have I got to say now? What am I going to say next? Or what's on my next slide? What's that fact? What's that figure? And they're very much internally focused. Now, they could have an individual or a room full of people, or more often than not, a series of screens and a Zoom call on a computer screen that are giving them signals that are subtle sometimes and sometimes not so subtle, and they're not picking them up because they're inside their own head. They're caught up in their own thought process about what they're saying and what they're going to say next. I think the first step for reading other people is to start developing the opportunity to maintain that train of thought, but pay attention to the people that you're talking to, either in real life or over a virtual platform. The other way around, that's the first stage, and then you can start to think about the face or the hands or people's posture or how they breathe, or the coloration in their face or their eyebrows can be very expressive if they're just listening to what you're saying. On the expressive side then, certainly I talked about your first impression. So eye contact, all the basics that are so important. Eye contact, a smile. If you are face to face and it's all COVID compliant, a good firm handshake, stand tall or sit tall. Make sure you're expressing that level of confidence in self so other people can have confidence in you. And then think about things like your hand gestures, making sure you're making the Body Language Decoder has a whole section on confident behaviors, a number of which are hand gestures, which allows people to think of you as confident. Because if you're doing confident behaviors, then people will think of you as confident. And in business, whether you're asking people for an investment or to invest their time, or so if you're asking for a team to buy into you as a leader in the vision, they need to see that confidence in order to be able to make that investment. So being aware of your more expressive behaviors and expressing confidence, if that's what's required, then that's a good start position in terms of that. So there's two sides to it. There's the expressive side, and then there's the reading side, and those are some good places to start.